Hey, what's up to everybody out there? Welcome to another edition of the Roundtable Talk. I'm your host, C Money, and this is another special coronavirus edition. But not only that, I want to express on different topics. You know, um, there are two different subjects I want to talk about, and I know that y'all know that it's going on as of right now. We speak, it's going on. I want to give you a coronavirus update. We are in the phase one of the coronavirus opening up. Phase one, meaning that a lot of places are opening up, have capacity, and they are opening things up, like restaurants and retail shops that have capacity. Now, what I wanted to discuss with you is, I don't know if you've heard, last month, a guy named Ahmaud Arbery was killed by two men in Georgia, and that the guys was convicted. And I also want to talk about the George Floyd situation. As you know, George Floyd, if you haven't been on social media, is a guy who was pinned to the ground by a police officer. He was pinned to the ground. The police officer pinned him to the ground with his knee on his neck. The guy was, I've seen the full video. The guy was, I can't breathe, my neck hurts, my back hurts, I can't breathe, and he was bleeding. And they pinned him to the ground to his death. And the policemen did nothing. And now there is a riot going on in Minnesota, to the point that everything has been destroyed. You know, they destroyed the Walmart, the Dollar Trees, they destroyed the police department, they destroyed everything. And and now they're saying that all across the United States, there are more riots and more protests going out. Here's what I want to say about that, in my opinion. First of all, yes, these two police officers and the other police officers that was involved need to be convicted, because they should not have did what they did. That's my thing. Number two, what is these riots are doing? Normally a riot starts, this is what a riot does. A riot normally starts out when you go to trial, and if the judge or the government or whatever says that this person is not convicted, they're not guilty, that's when a riot breaks out. You started the riot a day or two after this incident went viral, and now you're starting a riot before it even gets to trial. What is the riot going to solve? It's not going to solve nothing. It's not going to solve a thing. These two men are not in jail. These two men have not been convicted. They have been fired from the police force, but they've not been sent to jail. Now it's going to be where they have to convict them, because they're going to feel like these people are this is the reason why they're rioting, because they felt like these officers didn't get arrested. Until you arrest these officers, they were not in these riots. This riot's been going on for almost 3 days now. 3 days. And if you do not convict them, or if you do go to trial and they don't get convicted, it's going to be another outbreak of this riot. You have to realize, 2020 is already in a pandemic loss. We are now over 1,000 million cases. We are now over 1 million deaths in this coronavirus. 1 million deaths. We are over 1 million deaths in this coronavirus. We are the highest cases of deaths all in the world. From China, Russia, everywhere. We are the highest of deaths in this coronavirus pandemic. And now you got people out here protesting with no mask on, not social distancing, not doing nothing. And we just started phase one. Phase two and phase three is going to be in July, August. It's going to be months, a month or two from now. You just started now phase one. Now you got people protesting for this. And my thing is, what is this protesting going to solve? I agree with everybody. These two guys need to be convicted. I watched that video and I felt sorry for that man. And I feel sorry, my heart and prayers go out to the family members. But what is this going to solve? What is this going to prove? You're not proving anything in this situation by rioting. Now you done lost a business. Now you don't have no Target to go shopping to. You don't have a Dollar Tree to go pick up your essential stuff. You targeting every business out there. So when things get back, you don't have nowhere to shop. You destroyed the Target. You destroyed the businesses. You destroyed everything out there. Now it's coming to a point that they have to send in the National Guard. And I was watching where they was asking Trump about it. And I felt like, oh my God, what is wrong with Trump? I can't say nothing, allegedly. Trump was like, they said, do you think these guys need to be convicted? Trump said, I'm not going to comment on that, but they was wrong for doing it. Everybody know they was wrong for doing it. Even Jesus know they was wrong for doing it. But what are you going to do about it? Just along with this coronavirus. What are you going to do about this coronavirus situation? This situation is not going... The state of Florida alone is... As you know, I live in the state of Florida, in the South Florida area. The unemployment system is corrupted. There are millions and thousands of people that have not received unemployment since this virus pandemic. And a lot of people are worried. As you know, June 2nd is coming up. And June 2nd is, I call it Hell Day. And why do I call it Hell Day? As you know, June 2nd is the day that they suspend all rental agreements. They just suspend all rental fees. They suspend all rental cancellations, meaning that because remember, all landlords and all courts was not getting, if you looked at the previous videos, all courts are not issuing eviction notices right now because all courts and everything is closed. June 2nd, they're suspending that. So on June 2nd, the landlords have the right to go in and say, hey, I want to evict this person. But a lot of these people are still out of work. There are going to be 10,000 plus people that are going to be evicted out of their homes. My opinion is the government, and I'm not saying who, but I'm saying the government in general should have came up with a mortgage and rental suspension bill, meaning that for the next 5 months, if you lost your job due to the coronavirus, you should not have to pay your rent within the next 5 months. It's only been, everything started shutting down in March. It is now towards the ending of May going into June. That's only 2 to 3 months. You still got people that's out of work right now, and that will be out of work for another 2, maybe 3 months, depending on this situation. We're only in phase 1. You have to get to phase 4 for everything to open back up completely. And even in phase 1, everything is social distancing. These restaurants can't have full capacity. Seats have to be social distance. Down here where I live at, bus fares have been suspended. You have to enter the bus through the back door, and you must wear a face mask down here. This pandemic is crazy, and a lot of people are losing because their bills are piling up. That stimulus check that they gave us only paid your bills one time. Now you got people that got bills backed up, and they don't receive unemployment. And these people are like, wow, why? I applied for unemployment. This is a crisis that people are trying to get out of. That's why a lot of people are protesting throughout cities and other cities and states and stuff like that. They're protesting because they want the economy to open back up. Now they protesting in Minnesota because of the killing of George Floyd, and now they're going to be protesting in other cities as well, because now it's coming out that more cities are coming out protesting. But you have to realize one thing: 2020 is a bad year for everybody. You started out 2020 with the coronavirus. Now you got police brutality, with police killing unarmed men or killing men for no reason. And even if they had a reason, you shouldn't kill them. And even though Ahmaud Arbery wasn't killed by policemen, you was killed by allegedly racist men. You know? And now it's like the killings will not stop. I was telling a friend of mine, I was saying that basically, if I was president, I wouldn't be talking about lowering taxes. I wouldn't be talking about, homeowner property taxes. Yes, you need to do all that and jobs and create jobs for people. I'm going to be worried about police brutality. One of the things I will be worried about, investigating all police departments, county police departments, city police departments, country police departments, any police department, even Indian tribe, Seminole police departments. I will be investigating all police departments, because every police department has at least one or two corrupted policemen in their departments. And Minnesota have several. And the reason why they had several is because you allowed all them policemen to just sit there and allow that man to do that to that human being and die. If I was a policeman, I would be like, yo man, let him go. If he did something wrong, arrest him and put him in the back of your squad car. But do not kill this man. Y'all sat there and let this man do this to this guy and die. Now this man's life is gone because you wanted to put your knee to his back and you killed him. Now look what you started, an epic riot. You started a riot in Minnesota. Now there's riots going to be all over the country. These people are trying to make a statement by rioting. And I look at it as if, what is rioting going to do? What, you burning down a Target, burning down a Dollar Tree, burning down an auto parts store, burning down the police department. And like I told several people, and I said, them guys are in a witness protection program. If they not at home guarded by police, because I told them straight up, I told a lot of people, I say the chief of police is saying this: by law, I have to protect you during this riots. You are fired from my police roster. But by law, I'm supposed to protect you. Because every human being, African American or non-African American, who is disagree with what you did is going to be coming for you. So they have to put you in a witness protection program to save you by law. Even the own mayor of Minnesota said that they was wrong for doing that, and they had to bring in the National Guards. Trump didn't do nothing to help with this riot. All he said was they was wrong for doing it, but I'm not going to comment. That's all he said. And I'm like, dude, you have to realize one thing. This is a test for Donald Trump. This year is a test. Because number one, they tested you about the coronavirus. You're not doing nothing to help the coronavirus. Yeah, you sent out that stimulus check, and not everybody got a stimulus check because y'all talking about they might have had the wrong address, somebody else got their stimulus check, this and that, and you got so many reasons why people ain't getting their stimulus checks. Because I know certain people, even co-workers of mine, ain't get their stimulus check. And I'm looking at it as if, wow, what is going on? This is something that is really, people need to wake up and realize. This pandemic will not end. Even if you open up in phase 4, then this is going to be the new normal. A lot of people are going to start taking precautions now. A lot of these businesses are going to start changing, and it's going to be changing for the rest until 2021, 2022. They're going to be changing. A lot of these businesses going to have to change a lot of stuff. And now a lot of people are scared because now there's a COVID-19 fee in certain places. they charging people COVID-19 fee. And at first I was like, what the heck is they charging them that for? And now I realize a COVID-19 fee is a fee that they charge customers to help with the cleaning up, with the cleanliness of locations. I seen on the news where they was going to charge a lady $10 COVID-19 fee to get medical treatment for her daughter. You know, I ain't saying what medical treatment, I ain't saying what it is, you know, that's personal. But, you know what I'm saying, even regardless if it's a doctor, hospital, dentist, whatever, if they charge you a 19, they charge, and I thought it was a scam, but it's not a scam. It's an actual fee, because these people have to charge these fees, and restaurants too. Restaurants have that, you know, they have that authority to charge a COVID-19 fee, which is a fee that they use to help with the cleaning costs, because they have to clean and sanitize everything. I was looking at this, for most that don't know this, because there's only 3 locations, there's a amusement park called Fun Spot. I know most of y'all don't know about Fun Spot because they only have 3 locations. They have 2 in Orlando, one in the Kissimmee area and one in the Orlando area. Kissimmee, Florida, and Orlando, Florida. And the other location is in Atlanta, Georgia. Now, the location in Orlando, Florida opened up within the last week or 2. And they're not social distancing, and they're not following CDC guidelines. You can wear a mask. You don't have to wear a mask. The employees can wear a mask. They don't have to wear a mask. And the guy wanted everybody to run freely. I told me and my friends, we was like, I'm not going to no place like that where you can't social distance and where you can't follow CDC protocols. A lot of these places got to have hand sanitizer stations throughout their locations. Restaurants, amusement parks, theme parks, you know, grocery stores. You got to have hand sanitizer stations throughout the locations, because people going to be touching stuff like crazy. If you go to an amusement park, you're going to be touching handlebars and bars and stuff like that. You mean to tell me you're not going to have somebody wiping them down? You know? And stuff like that. Just like with our show. You know, most of my shows now are taped at home. You know, I was doing my hot spots of South Florida. I was doing that. And I had to stop doing my hot spots of South Florida because of the fact that the coronavirus started happening, and I couldn't go to none of the other areas and none of the other locations I was supposed to be doing. So I had to take a break from doing hot spots in South Florida. I recently paid a visit to Game Time, which is at the shops at Sunset. And I asked the question. I didn't want to go in there. I asked the question, are y'all open? Because I recently got an email from them. The guy told me, we are open, but only for people who make reservations for the restaurant. Because Game Time has a restaurant. You have to make a reservation in the restaurant. And you can only play the video games if you have a reservation in the restaurant. They didn't say that when they did the email. They said on the email, you have to make reservations for the restaurant. They didn't say, oh, you have to make reservations for the restaurant and you can only play the video games if you reserve reservations at the restaurant. A lot of these places are doing simple guidelines as they open back up. A lot of these places are not open back up to the public just like that. Oh, come on out, we open. No. And a lot of these places, like Fun Spot, they're not following CDC guidelines. And I told my wife, I say, it's been almost a week and they still haven't shut down Fun Spot, because it's not. And a lot of these government officials is not doing nothing to actually, you know what I'm saying, help, and to actually, you know what I'm saying, help these economy out. If you see that these places are not following social distance guidelines and CDC protocols and guidelines, you need to say, hey, y'all need to start following guidelines or you got to shut down. Disney World, the happiest place on earth, said they're not opening up until mid-July. You know, the first week in June, Universal Studios will be opening up. A lot of these places are slowly, because, and I feel like really it's too soon to be opening up big theme parks. It's too soon to be opening up big places like that, because you're going to have another outbreak, and you're going to have, and you're going to have another pandemic, you know, coming around. You're going to have another round of this pandemic. You know, a lot of these people that been protesting, we need to get back to what we need to get, and I know why. Unemployment is not coming. There's people right now that's been filing for unemployment since mid-March and still haven't got collected. And now, what the government is doing about it? Nothing. What the economy in the White House and everything else doing about it? Nothing. People running around here going crazy. Why you think there's a lot of shooting and killing and stuff like that? Because people running around here robbing people, trying to make ends meet to feed themselves and pay bills. The poor is robbing from the poor to make ends meet. I see it all the time. You got people on social media who can cash out me some money. Ooh, who can do this, who can do that. I've seen strippers charging people $100+ just to strip online. I ain't gonna pay for it, because I don't pay for nothing like that. I seen strippers, I seen one stripper, $170. Who pays that much? They don't even pay that much in the clubs. For $170, I want to get more than just a dance. When I'm getting out a whole package. A lot of these people are being dirty and they boosting prices up because they feel like it's the only way to make money. You know, I seen a lot of people who do Lyft drives, drive for Lyft and drive for Uber. They used to do it only, part-time, on the weekends or so, just to make it up. Now they got to do it every day. Hell, my job is not working, so I got to do Lyft every day, So it's like the economy is real bad and it's not getting any better. Even with this riot in Minnesota situation, you got to realize something. When you hurt the economy, it's going to hurt the government. My opinion on Trump, this is a talk show, so I can't speak of much of what I say because this is a talk show and it's a public talk show. But I don't believe Trump will be back in office. You know what I'm saying? I believe that, because look what he's doing. You're doing a lot of this stuff. Now Trump is out here feuding with Twitter because Twitter, tracked on one of his tweets. So now he wants to try to take down social media all at once. Now look at it as if, why you worried about what's going on with Twitter and social media when we got all these coronavirus cases is running around here? What are you going to do about it? You got people still out of work trying to make ends meet and trying to provide for their family, ain't getting a paycheck, ain't seeing no money coming in, and they living from dollar to dollar trying to figure out how they going to end up paying their bills and how they going to feed their kids. But you worried about what's going on Twitter. Dude, it's a lot of stuff going on out here. Look at what's going on in Minnesota. These two policemen have not yet been convicted. They got fired. And that's all they could say. Well, we're going to fire them. Yes, you fired them, but when is they going to jail? When is their trial going to be set? You got stuff, and now they finna start riots in other cities just to prove a point. When is this going to change? When is all of this going to change? When are we going to see some changes? We already quarantined ourselves from this coronavirus. We already not seeing no money come in. I'm out of a job for right now. Temporarily. Needless to say, I do have money saved up, so I'm not budget. I'm on that. But how long that gonna last? Yeah, people save money for stuff like this and rainy days, but then that's only for being 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. We're not expected to be out of work for 2 and 3 months. You got something that's got to give. And people are getting tired of it. People are tired of being stressed out. A lot of these people are trying, I got 2 and 3 kids. I don't know when their next meal going to come from. Yeah, I get food stamps or I go to these banks and get these, food from these food banks and stuff. But still, I have bills. I can't feed my kids outside. It's going to be an epidemic all over again with a lot of people. First of all, a lot of people is about to be homeless. Remember I told you, in the state of Florida, It's a problem with unemployment. It's over 10 million people that is not receiving unemployment. Maybe less, maybe more. You know, and now with this June 2nd coming around, which is the day that they are suspending lifting the rent suspension, a lot of these landlords are going to be going to the courts trying to get their tenants evicted. Number one, there's not going to be nobody trying to buy an apartment or a condo or rent anything because nobody has money to do any of that. Number one. Number two, you know, where these people are going to go when they get pulled out. You got families, husband, wife, kids, 2 kids, 3 kids. You got families that are out here, and you mean to tell me that you're going to kick these families out? Yeah, you have the right to go to court and have a written notice on stopping the evictions, but how long is that going to last you? They're going to give you, 1 week, 2 weeks? That's why I say the government is not really doing much to help these people with this pandemic. And it's really getting hard out here for a lot of people because a lot of people are out here stressing themselves out over this. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm down to my last couple of dollars and my rent is due and my kids are hungry and, I keep filing for unemployment but I can't get it. What is you doing about it? Nothing. Governor Ron DeSantis, he's running around here, talking about other stuff, but you're not talking about, you doing an investigation of the DEO, Department of Economic, and everything, the unemployment department, but you're not doing what you need to do to get it done so these people can get their money. Yes, regardless of what happens, regardless if you go back to work, you're still entitled to that unemployment money, but still, what are you doing about it to get these people back up and running? You're not doing nothing about it. A lot of these people are looking for bread and butter and they ain't even much got the bread, they got the butter. They're looking for fish and chips and they can't even find the fish or the chips. People are living off of pennies to $1. And it's sad to see that this economy is not getting any better. You got police brutality running around here. You got people still getting sick off the coronavirus. You got officers doing bad things. You got government that don't know what to do and that don't know how to fix things and help people. What is going on with this economy? A lot. It's going to get worse before it get better. And me and my friends been saying that all the time. It's going to get worse before it gets better. And that's on the real. And before it gets better, before it gets worse, something has to change. You have to go out here and make sure that these people are well taken care of. My thing with unemployment is you should have had a whole bunch of checks already ready to go when people started when people drop their unemployment paper off. Here's a check. Until you get approved, we'll give you a one-time check. You should have had all that operating. Now you got people squiffing and huffing. I don't know what I'm going to do. I don't know how I'm going to get paid my next meal and all this. Because you got government so corrupted now. Trump has not yet said anything about the unemployment crisis in Florida. I don't know how the unemployment crisis is in other cities. But if you are from another city and you know what the crisis is, email us roundtable00@yahoo.com. Also comment at the bottom of this page and let us know what's going on in the cities. And anybody that has an update on the Minnesota riots, you can also do so by emailing us roundtable00@yahoo.com, or you can also comment at the bottom of this episode. But this is 2020 is a messed up year. It's really messed up year. You started out with the coronavirus messing it up. Now you got police brutality. And you got all these people, these racist people. And people walking around, racism don't exist. Racism exists. Racism will never end. Even people who are grown is going to teach their kids racism. There are the 3 predominantly black states that are predominantly black. It's Georgia, Alabama, and Mississippi. And I was recently told that in certain parts of Mississippi, it is still racist. Florida is a multicultural state because what do they call Miami? They call Miami the new Cuba because Cuba is only 90 miles away from the southernmost point. Because the southernmost point of Florida is in Key West. And from the southernmost point, Cuba is only 90 miles away. That's why when Cubans want to get away from Cuba, where the first place they fled? South Florida. Because it's only 90 miles away. They're not going to fled to New York or to Georgia or to the Carolinas or to Texas or any other areas because those are 300-400 miles away. They're going to go to only 90 miles away, Florida. And we're a multicultural state. Georgia, Mississippi, and Alabama are predominantly 70% black. And a lot of these places are still racist. So racism is not over. Racism still exists. It's not as heavenly as it used to be back in the 80s and the 70s and the 60s with the Ku Klux Klan and everything. It's not over down, but it still exists, And people don't realize that it is time to wake up and look at what's going on in the world. You got coronavirus. You got police brutality. You got white people killing black people. You got all of this stuff that's going on. You don't think that this is a wake-up call? Like I tell everybody else, this is a test for Donald Trump, and he has failed. I'm sorry to say it. I know this is a talk show, and I know I'm not supposed to say much about it, but he has failed as a president. Why? Because what are you doing about this coronavirus? You walking around going into people's businesses without a mask on. You out here telling people that the pill that you're taking, I don't remember the pill. If you remember the pill, comment it. The pill that you're taking is helping you with this coronavirus. And it's not even much a pill for coronavirus because they do not have a vaccine or a pill for the coronavirus. They do not have it. There is not one pill or one vaccine for this coronavirus. They tell you it's going to take up to a year to make a vaccine for the coronavirus. And it's already May, June. That means that vaccine won't be available to around this time next year. And then they say Trump is trying to push to get a vaccine as early as the end of the year. You can't push for a vaccine. Whatever pill you was taking, they tell you it's not for coronavirus. But you got these health officials and these doctors and these physicians saying, yeah, go on and take it. It's going to help you with coronavirus. There isn't a pill out there that says we help with killing the coronavirus. Lysol tells you on the back of their can, they kill coronavirus. That's Lysol spray. But there isn't a pill that says we treat headache, nausea, upset stomach, and coronavirus. There isn't a pill that does that. Because there isn't a vaccine. And yes, the coronavirus has been around for years. It just haven't been a pandemic like it is now. Because every virus has been around for years. But you got to look at these things. You can't sit up here and say things and think that the people like what he said that, inject disinfectant into your body. Are you crazy? Who's going to infect disinfect? You're going to kill yourself even before the coronavirus get to your body. Disinfectant is poisoning. That's poisoning. And you mean to tell me you want people to shoot poison into their body to try to kill the virus, let alone try to kill themselves? That's crazy. That's why I say this situation, this pandemic is not. It's crazy. And now with these riots going on with the George Floyd and with the Ahmaud Arbery situation, it's going to get worse before it get better. People are going to start rioting and people are going to start looking for change. And if you can't make that change, it's going to be more consequences and more brutality and more outbreaks out there. My thing is to y'all, what do y'all think about all that is going on in 2020? Because I'm done with 2020. I'm ready for 2021 to get here. This has been the longest that Disney World has been closed. And the same with Universal Studios, the longest. I don't remember a time in all my life, I've never been known a time for Disney to shut down for this long. I've known Disney to probably shut down their parks because of a celebrity, you know what I'm saying, coming and, you know what I'm saying, buy at the park for a birthday event. I've known for that to happen at several parks, but I've never known for a park that goes for this long. And I'm saying to this, why isn't there any change going on? Why isn't there changes that are being made to implement steps into making a better, stronger economy? If your model is let's make America great again, let's make America great. America's not great. People are dying from this coronavirus. People, black people and minorities are getting brutalized by these cops. They're getting killed and getting killed at, shot at. They're getting beaten down. They're doing all this stuff and nothing's being done to help these people. What is that? What is the government and the economy going to do? It's a lot, and it's like nothing's being done to help anybody. Nothing's being done to rise above everything. Unemployment's rising and people are out of jobs and people wondering where the next meal gonna come from, or is they gonna get evicted out of their apartment. What is going down? My thing is, there has to be change. And I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna say this because I'm about to end the show. But there has to be a change. Something has to happen. There has to be a change in something. The government has to change. The economy has to change. There has to be a change. No more police brutalities. When I guarantee you there's going to be another pandemic 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. It's going to be another pandemic. Because there's always a disease that comes out that's going to remember the Ebola disease and the Ebola disease with Obama and all this. And, you know, remember, every president went through some type of disease or some type of virus. It's just this was the worst. And this is a test for Trump. And now Trump has failed with this virus because you're not doing nothing to help. When are we going to see change? When are we going to see positive outcomes? That's my thing with this. I want to know how you feel about everything. I want to know how you feel about the riots in Minnesota. Do you think that it's a good thing or a bad thing? I believe it's a bad thing that they're having these riots because it's not going to prove nothing. By you putting down these buildings and blowing up these buildings and looting these buildings and putting these buildings in fire and burning down buildings, what are you accomplishing? Nothing. What are you trying to prove? Nothing. With this coronavirus situation going around, what do you feel that the government is doing? Do you feel that the government is doing their job and getting this virus thing going? Or would you feel that they're not doing their job? And I don't think they're doing their job because we're not seeing any improvement. Now you want to open things back up when we just reached the peak of a million deaths in this coronavirus. Now you want to start opening things back up. What is it that needs to be done to make this change? We need a change in everything. Like one of my friends was saying, Lord, if we didn't need you then, we need you now. It may not come when you want it, but he's right on time. You know, because a lot of people need you right now. And it's going to the sad part to the point where it's too much. I want to know your comments. I want to know what you feel. We're going to be doing another episode later on down the line because remember, we're still covering the coronavirus situations. Email me roundtable00@yahoo.com if you will have any questions, comments, or if you have any information that you would like to rely on us. Email us roundtable00@yahoo.com. You can also comment at the bottom of this episode, and we want to know what you feel on this and anything else that you would like to add. We want to know how you feel about the riots in Minnesota. We want to know how you feel about the coronavirus situation, about the Ahmaud Arbery situation, everything. Let us know how you feel. Let us know what you feel about it and how it goes. I'm your host, C Money. This is another edition of the Roundtable Talk. I hope that y'all please stay safe. Please wash your hands. Please protect yourself, because this coronavirus is no joke. And for the people out there in Minnesota, please, justice will be done. Hold on. Relax yourself. There will be justice. You just have to believe in the power of God, because all things are through Him. And I believe in the power of God. Those two men are going to get what's coming to them. They are going to be convicted, no doubt, because they're not going to let this get away. The FBI is coming in to be investigated. They're bringing the National Guard in to help with the riots. Those two men, will be convicted. They will be charged. They are going to go to trial, because you have everybody with body cams and cell phones that recorded the whole situation, the whole incident. You cannot tell me that the men is going to be set free and go about their daily lives. This is not another George Zimmerman, Sanford. Because remember with George Zimmerman in Sanford, when he killed Trayvon Martin, they started that Stand Your Ground. George Zimmerman was walking free, doing his thing. He had to go in hiding. Why? Because every black person wanted a piece of George Zimmerman. It was the organization, I believe it was the Black Panthers, if I'm not mistaken, that wanted George Zimmerman dead or alive, and they had a cash reward. They didn't want that man to live. That man got off on killing a 16-year-old boy, and you still got off scotch-free. Dude, you were supposed to rot in jail. The same thing with these two policemen, or how many ever. In the video it was two, but there was more policemen, because they said another policeman had a body cam and recorded it, and there was more policemen involved. Trust me. And you mean to tell me that you're going to sit up here and allow these policemen to get off scotch-free and walk the streets like nothing happened? No. They can't walk these streets and pretend like nothing happened. You can't pretend like nothing happened. And the same thing with this pandemic, with this coronavirus. You have to come to a solution so if people can't get back to work, you have to come to a solution to know that they have to have a way to make money. They have to have a way to have some type of income coming in. June 2nd is coming around the corner, and a lot of people will be evicted. That's a couple of days from now, and a lot of people will be evicted. What would these people go when they say, oh, hey, you're evicted. You got 2 and 3 kids and 5 kids. Where you going to go with these kids? Landlord, I lost my job. Well, I'm sorry, but I have to evict you. What can you do? It's a mess. 2020 is chaos. It will never be the same anymore. And people don't understand the concept of it. This is one of the worst years in history. Coronavirus, police brutality, killings, everything that's happened. That man didn't have on a face mask or nothing when the police pinned him down. It may not have been required in Minnesota, but still, you got these people crazy people trying to protect the law, but they're not protecting the law. They're killing the law. I want you to know, I want you to weigh in on these and how you feel about the Minnesota shooting. I mean, not the shooting, the Minnesota riots and this killing of this unarmed black man, and the coronavirus, and also the Ahmaud Arbery situation. Let me know how you feel. Once again, roundtable00@yahoo.com. Email me if you have any questions or anything. Also comment at the bottom of this page. I am your host, C Money. This is the Roundtable Talk. Please stay safe, be blessed, and have a safe day. And I will see you on the next episode of the Roundtable Talk.